Hello and welcome to the first episode of BadMomCrafting. My goal with this is to show you my works in progress and the books I'm reading, and then if you want to say something about them, you can. No bad things though, because we don't want that. And to show you finished projects, if I can finish a project within the year and be able to show it to you. I would also like to maybe take you along when I finish a project and show you how I finish it. But I think right now what I need to move into is what my current projects are. And so I craft, but I crochet, I cross stitch, I do a little embroidery, I quilt. I don't have any quilting projects right now to show you, but I have one planned for the end of the year that I think might be fun to do. So let me go ahead and go into my projects. The first project I'm working on right now, I started it in December of 2022. It is this massive lion cross stitch. And what I do when I start working on a project is I will set little goals. And by the time I reach the end of that goal, I'm usually ready to move on to a new project. So it will be like for this one, if you can see right here is empty. My goal was to work on these 9 little blocks, and I'm getting there. It's not complete yet, but so I'm still working on this one, like I said. But yes, it is a massive lion cross stitch. I got it from Amazon. It was a Maydeer printed canvas. It is I think 14 inches by 11. I can't remember for certain. I'd have to look it up on my project board, but it's coming along. It's not nearly finished. It's supposed to be a gift for somebody eventually, and I will finish it and be able to send it to them. But I'm hoping this year I can get across at least from here all the way over to here and then work back my other way. Okay, so the next project to show you is a crochet project. I am doing a blanket for my son, and basically you can't tell that that's green, but basically I have made all these little blocks, and I'm using, so basically there's these. I had to go grab this. You can tell that some of these are green. The lighting is not good right now because I didn't like the glare from my overhead light. See, that's green. There's this bag of green blocks, this bag of green blocks, and this bag of green blocks. So it's a pattern I found on YouTube, and she did like these little mini blocks, just one of these, and then she connected them as a join as you go. Well, the other night I was looking at it and I decided I didn't like having the blue, because it's going to be a blue and green pattern. I didn't like the blue right up against the green. And I was sitting there, I was thinking about it, and I was trying to decide what color I wanted to go between them. And what I decided is, because I'm going to have to take these apart, is that I'm going to take these apart and then do a blue, or no, not a blue, a gray between these, and see how I like that. I'm still going to do what the lady in the YouTube video, I'll try and put a link down below. This is we'll call it Blythe's crochet blanket. And I'll put the link below that. But what she did is she took 500 of one color and like 500 of another color, and that's how she made her blanket. But I'm going to do 500 of one color, 500 of another color, and then a border between the colors, because I think I would like that better. This is fine, and I think it's beautiful, and it's amazing, but I just want a border between them. So anyway, we're going to move on to the infamous bag of gifts. And basically that's what this project is. It's a bag of gifts where I have cross-stitched little patterns, and I have to go through and I've got to find a way to seal them, close out their ends, and send them to the people that they are. I am very stuck on this project right now because I started this project in July of 2024, and I was like, I'm going to get this done, I'm going to be able to send them for Christmas. Then some stuff happened. I got a little bit angry, and I just put it to the side and said, I'll get to it when I get to it. And I will get to it, and I will send it this year. And by the way, it is January 2nd, 2025. But I'm still in my feels about it, and I will just have to, I will get out of my feels after I've worked some other projects a little bit more, and then I will fix those and get them in little baggies. I'm not just going to send them like that. I'm going to, I try and do it properly, I guess is the word I'm looking for, where I will wrap it and make it into a nice little package. And I will send it to one person because they mostly go in the same area. And then he will have to distribute them from there. But that's neither here nor there, and that is something I will have to work through. Anyway, the next project is another cross stitch. It is I don't remember when I started this one, but they are mason jars. I bought this from Walmart. I think it was clearanced, and that's why I bought it. It's normally I don't buy full price objects because I'm a mom and we're a single income household, and I've got to save money where I can. Oh, there. Okay, so this is the project. It says be a delight. I think that's why it got clearanced. It's so dark on here that it doesn't translate well. But what I'm realizing as I stitch it is that it is also pretty dark. Oh, I didn't realize there was a candle, an image of a candle there. And what I'm saying is it's so dark that it doesn't translate well on the dark fabric that they provided, which is an Aida cloth, and it is I'm not certain. 14 count Aida cloth, and the finished size is 7 inches by 5 inches. And I think it's just a fun little cross stitch to be doing. Like, I don't remember when I started it, but I know that I've been working on it for less than a year. And I am going to go back and work on it some more, but I'm not certain when yet. And when I start to work on this, my goal will be to finish a couple colors, because there's no blocks for me to say, oh, I want to finish 9 blocks. But yes, this is so it's just a fun little cross stitch that I'm doing, and I'm really excited to work on it more this year. Probably this will get finished before the line cross stitch, which is an 11 count, but we'll see. I'll probably start some more projects throughout the year. There is a dress I want to make for my youngest, and a quilt, a baby quilt. I want to make a couple baby quilts this year, and probably in the next month or so I want to start them. So the next thing I'm going to show you is this. It is just a blanket that I'm making from scrappy, it's a scrappy yarn blanket. I have a pattern. You probably, I don't know if you'll be able to tell it, but so it's right here I'm working on double crochets, and below that it's supposed to be a half double crochet, and below that it's a single crochet. And so I'm just taking scrap yarn I have around the house that I just need to get rid of, and I am basically building onto the blanket as I go. Right now it's very yellowish and purplish because this is purple, and white-ish. This is red. I don't know why it's translating to orange. I don't have very much orange at all. There's some pinks down here. It's just so my husband's wife friend gave me, she's found out I was learning to crochet like 5 years ago, and she's like, I have all this yarn and I'm not going to use it. Well, you can have it. And she goes, I just need you to go through it and pull out this stuff, which was great for me. Like, I was super happy about that. And so I was like, I'll take it all. Like, if you don't want it, I'll take it. I will use it eventually. And so I took the yarn, and I still have 90% of this yarn. I've made a cardigan before out of it, and I hated the cardigan. I don't like crochet garments, and maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I always feel like they're super stiff, so I don't normally make them. I don't even like the hats out of crocheting. So, but maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. I think a lot of it's I'm using acrylic yarn, but I'm okay with that because, like I said, we're a single income household, and I have to do what I can do. Anyway, so this blanket I started a long time ago. I don't even know how long ago. And it's just one of those ones that when I work on it when I can. It's super long. It'll go across the queen size bed and touch the floors, which is my goal. When I sit down to work on it, my goal is to and unless I'm using a small scrap like this, which is one of the things I do, is she had some projects that she just had started. In the yarn that she gave me, she had started these projects and then was like, I'm not, and quit on them. And so they were just little balls of yarn. So I took them apart because I didn't know what the projects were, and I didn't want to try and finish them. And they make spots like this camo printed spot. See if I can't find the end of it. Oh, here's one end, and it goes to down here. Anyway, like you see how it's a short amount. It's because it was a scrap ball of yarn, and I just threw it in here because that's what I wanted to do. And then I do use some full skeins that I know I'm not going to use for anything else because I have moved on from the project it was for. And what I'm doing with those is I will I'll do 3 rows. And it'll be, like I said, 3 rows of, which is why this purple is so thick right here, and this white is so thick. Yellow, red, this gray. See how short of amount of gray there is? That's because that was a scrap piece of yarn. And so that's what I do with this blanket. If I'm using a full skein, I'll get 3 rows done, and then I try to put a scrap ball of yarn in between the full skeins. And that one is coming along. I don't know if I'll keep this one. The more I work on it, the less I like it. I mean, I like it because it's going to be nice and warm and cozy. And that's the point of these blankets, is to be nice and warm and cozy. And that's what I like. But I don't know if it's going to be one I want to keep or if it's going to be one I want to pass on. Because that's what I do. I craft to give gifts. Which leads me to my next project. This is it's supposed to be a snowflake coaster, but I don't know if you can tell, but that's the size of my face. It's 8 inches. It's supposed to be 5 inches. I haven't weaved in my ends yet, and I will. It's supposed to be 5 inches, but I used the wrong hook size deliberately so I could test out the pattern. I don't remember where I found the pattern. I printed it up. I downloaded it and I saved it and had my mom print it up for me so that I could be able to work it. Now the goal with this, obviously this is not a coaster. It's too big to be a coaster. But I'm going to try using a smaller hook size, which I struggle with. But the only way to get better at something is to continuously do it. So I'm going to try a smaller hook size. And the goal of this is to make snowflake coasters for Christmas gifts of next year. I have a general idea of who I'm going to send them to, but it's now just the process of making them and finding a way to package them nicely and hopefully getting them smaller. I'm going to keep this one, and it's going to be like a where I put a hot pan on it or something so that I can save my counters. Obviously white is not going to last long because, you know, kitchens are dirty. No matter what anybody says, kitchens are dirty. But yes, this is the last project I'm working on right now, and I'm nowhere near completing it or anything like that. Most of these projects are nowhere near completion. It's gonna be a wild ride this year of trying to complete stuff. And the fact that I am a stay-at-home mom, you would think that gives me time, but I don't. I also am my mother's caretaker. I drive my kids back and forth to school. I volunteer at my kids' school. I try and take my kids to go do stuff. So, you know, busy. But I'll try. My goal is to try and like update you guys once weekly. Now, on to books. So the books are going to be a wild ride. I'm just going to say that. I like what I like to read, and that's all I'm going to say. First book I'm reading is my book, and it is Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. I got caught up in book talk, and I decided to read this. This is my second time reading this book, and that way I can read Hunting Adeline next. But like I said, I'm reading books. I'm only reading this every once in a while. I don't know why, I just am. I have other books I know why. I have other books I have to get through because I'm a big proponent of going to your local library and checking out books. Yes, I own a lot of books, like this one, which I am loving. But I also believe you should go to your local library and read. Like I said, this is my second time reading this. It is a cat and mouse story, and it's very, I'm not going to say fun because I wouldn't call that fun. it's what I would call an interesting read. Not nearly as much as the last book that I'm going to show you. The next book I'm going to show you is Learning to Knit, the Knitting Encyclopedia. So basically, I'm learning to knit. It's something I want to do, and maybe at some point in this year, I will do a knitting project. I'm basically at the point where they're teaching cast-ons, because I don't sit down and just read this front to cover. I couldn't do that. I can't do that with most things because I don't have time. So basically, I'm on this page, and basically what my plan for this page is to sit down and just build up that muscle memory of casting on, because that's what I've learned about crocheting, is that it's a lot about building on your muscle memory. And I can sit there and watch TV while I crochet, but I still have to count, and you have to count with knitting too. But the fact of the matter is I can just sit there, and because it's a muscle memory. Now, the last book I'm reading, I started reading it because I listened to a podcast called Morbid Podcast. If you like morbid things and you want to learn about crimes, go listen to it. It's pretty good. They also do like scary stories that their listeners send in. It's a pretty fun podcast. Well, I'm not going to say fun. It is a very interesting podcast. But in listening to that podcast, I learned about this book. Sorry. The Phantom Prince, My Life with Ted Bundy by Elizabeth Kendall. And I'm not even halfway through it, because I keep thinking, and it's no shade, no, anger towards this woman, but I feel like she was super lovesick towards Ted Bundy, and I'm glad that she was able to get away from him. But it's just knowing what he did and reading how much she wanted to be with him is kind of a little disturbing. She is like turning in at the point I'm at in the book, and she's not so lovesick, which is great. But the relationship with him seemed very toxic, is what I'm reading. Anyway, this is the last book I'm reading right now. Well, you can see a reflection on it. Anyway. And I will try and check back next week. Next week is the start of the school year, or the start of the new semester of school, so I will have less time to record. So, have a good night and stay bad and keep crafting. Bye!